What's going on, guys? CTG Matt back, Red the Title. Today we are talking about some underperforming NBA players. Do I think it'll stick, or do I think they'll turn things around? Don't forget to like, subscribe if you enjoy the video. Let's go over our tiers. We have the fire exit, which means go. Go, go, go. My faith is completely gone in this player. We got getting close, mid, but got worse, and no panic. Trae Young is first on our list, and I will say, I'm going to say getting close. Obviously, he's hurt right now. He only played 5 games. But in the 5 games he played, that team did not look very good, if at all, and he himself did not look good. In the 5 games he played, he shot 37% from the field, 19% from 3, and only averaged 8 assists per game. They run a lot of high screen and roll for him. You've seen the team play, honestly, a lot better since he's been gone. It's kind of a hard thing to imagine, but of recently, they've been playing very well. Vit Krejci has stole them a couple of games. Mo Gay stole them a game. You know, the whole team plays a lot better, it seems, right now when he's not around. They play at least more cohesively, and there's more ball movement. The ball's moving around. They don't have Nikhil either. I'm starting to worry about this Trae Young Atlanta thing. Does he fit what they want to do? If they trade Trae Young, where do they go? I won't say I'm fully out on Trae Young because there is still a good player in there, but if he's going to shoot 19% from 3, he's not going to help his team at all. You know, and especially when the ball's already moving without him. My biggest worry without Trae Young would be that the ball wouldn't move. It would be too stagnant, and you would have guys like Vit Krejci taking guys off the dribble. No, instead what's happening is the ball's popping around very quickly, and they're finding open shooters, and guys are hitting their shots. The ball's moving more. There's not as much high screen and roll. I don't know. I love Trae Young. I do. But the Hawks have looked pretty darn good recently without him. So I don't know where to go from here. Derek White has been a slow starter this year. He's shooting 34% from the field, 27% from 3, but I'm not panicked about it. Why? His defense is still okay. And on top of that, he's also at like 5 assists to only like 1 turnover. So he's still doing relatively well in the assist-to-turnover ratio department. This is his first full season being like a real feature player. He's the second best player on the team scoring wise. I think he's a really good player, don't get me wrong, but he's much better complementary compared to where he's currently at, which is a feature like star piece. He's obviously not meant to be a second option, but as for right now, he's kind of forced into being that. I'm not panicked about it. He's shooting pretty bad, but it's not like he's turning the ball over a ton, and it's not like he's suddenly become a net negative on defense. He's just kind of struggling to get his shot right, but it makes more sense. He's getting more defensive attention than ever. For the Nets, there's not many slow starters because they don't have many good players. That's just a brutally honest take on it. But Day'Ron Sharpe is here. I'm going to put no panic for Day'Ron Sharpe. I think he's still a fine backup big man. But as for right now, the offense is currently about 19 points worse with him on per 100 possessions. That's not great. It's not a great look. He himself has not been the reason for that. That's why he's in no panic. I think Day'Ron Sharpe is a good big man, but like I said, I took one from, well, I didn't say this, but I took one from each team. And the Nets don't have many guys that are underperforming because they don't have many guys with expectations to begin with. Tre Mann, I'm gonna put him in no panic for now. I'm gonna give him benefit of the doubt. He missed a ton of time last season. This year, 35 from the field, 28 from 3, a 3-2 assist to turnover right now. It's not ideal, but this is a guy that missed basically all of last season. I like Tre Mann still as a scorer. It's just not falling for him at the moment. I hope he'll pick it up, but they do have a good amount of guards now in Charlotte with when LaMelo's healthy. Colin Sexton's there, Con Kneppel's there. You know, they have guard play. Zion James or whatever. And, you know, Tre Mann's still there. He's a good bench player, but he is coming off a big injury. It's going to take him a little bit more time to get reacclimated. Tre Jones is up next. I'm going to put him in mid, but got worse. I've never been a Tre Jones guy to begin with, but right now, currently, the team, he is, I believe, the low man on the totem pole when it comes to plus minus on the team. The opposing team is also 6 points better when Tre Jones is on the floor, meaning they score 6 points more per 100 possessions with Tre on the floor. The Bulls don't have many underperforming guys either. Tre Jones just so happened to be it. I've never been a big Tre Jones guy. I don't hold him in the same value as his brother. They're both kind of the same player, though. They're basically copy-paste of each other, not even joking. They're both fine backup point guards. Tre Jones, I'm not the biggest on, but I'm not worried about him. Lonzo Ball, I'm going to put in getting close as well. I'm going to put in getting close. because he so far this season hasn't been great. He's shooting 29% from the field, 23% from three. His assist numbers haven't been quite as high, and he just had a pretty decent game yesterday. I think 9 points, a couple of threes in there. Like, it was a fine game for Lonzo Ball. The reason why I'm saying I'm getting close is just because the sheer amount of wear and tear and injuries on his body. I like Lonzo Ball, but again, the amount of surgeries he's had, the amount of even a small injury at this point is really worrisome. And on top of that, his shooting hasn't been great. You know, he's still finding a role in Cleveland, so I expect there to be a little bit of an adjustment phase, but right now I am a little bit worried about him, to say the least. Cooper Flagg, I'm not panicked about him yet. He had a pretty solid game yesterday. Right now, the issue with the Dallas Mavericks is pretty clear. I mean, it's poison up top of the organization all the way down. You know, they just fired Nico Harrison like 3 hours ago at the time of recording, and again, it's not like it was Nico's fault all the way. You know, the Adelsons are involved, and all the other the DuPonts or whatever are also involved, and the issue started there with roster construction. Obviously, they don't have many guards, and so Cooper Flagg was forced into being one, which is not what he is. Cooper Flagg is not a guard, right? He's shown good flashes of scoring when he's allowed to be a scorer, but when he's kind of tasked with when you're asking a 19-year-old to be Chris Paul, you're a pretty bad spot, honestly. It's just a pretty bad spot. I would like to see him score more, don't get me wrong. He has kind of not underperformed my expectations, but he kinda. I still have pretty high hopes for him, though, man. I think Cooper Flagg is still a very good basketball player. I just don't think there's that much reason to panic right now. I think it's more due to roster construction than Cooper Flagg himself individually being bad. Cam Johnson, I'm going to put him in no panic. They obviously didn't trade for Cam Johnson because he was going to be Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. is, without a doubt, a better scorer than Cam Johnson is. Undoubtedly a better scorer. But they hired him. They traded for him to be a 3-and-D guy. So far, they've gotten 38% from the field, 23% from three. For Cam Johnson, only 8 points per game. That's not ideal. I think the fit is still a work in progress, but I like Cam Johnson a lot, and I think that it'll work out eventually. Eventually, it'll work out. But he's a guy that they needed. He's a guy that they kind of needed to trade for, I guess, because Michael Porter's contract was big and it opened up so much room for them. I think Cam Johnson right now is just in the process of still learning it. I know I'm putting a bunch of guys in the no panic tier. It'll change eventually. But as for Cam Johnson, it's like he's a good complementary role player. He's been a good shooter his whole career. There's no way it just suddenly and he can't shoot anymore, especially when he's playing with one of the best passers in basketball, Nikola Jokic. Shout out to Toby, man. This hasn't been his greatest, he hasn't put his best foot forward to start the year so far. He shot 39% from the field, 28.5% from three. He has been a really decent defender since he arrived in Detroit, but this year specifically, his scoring hasn't been as efficient as you need it to be, especially when you don't have Jaden Ivey. You need more role players to step up, and Tobias Harris has got to be one of those guys because he's one of the only role players on their team that can create off the dribble. He's like one of three, I would say. I would trust him and I don't know, a couple other guys to make a play off the dribble on that team. Maybe Karras, but Tobias needs to be kind of a perimeter scoring option, and he hasn't been so far. It's just not ideal. Al Horford, I'm going to put in getting close because he's very old. Obviously, we all know that. But on the season, he's shooting 35% from the field, 30 from three, putting up 5 points per game. His defense hasn't been elite. He's never been an elite defender. He's always just been serviceable. But even this year, I see him and I'm like, he's just not moving the same. He's older. And I think that pretty much explains the whole thing, my worry behind him. He's older in a new situation that he's never played in before. He's being tasked with doing kind of the same stuff. But at the same time, it's just a completely different system. He's screening more, I believe. I think he can still knock down some threes, but right now it's just not falling, and he's just older. I think that's a fair reason to say that I'm a little bit more worried about Al Horford than some other guys. Up next is Reed Shepherd. I'm hitting the fire exit. I know it's kind of an overreaction a little bit because his splits have not been that bad. He's shooting 46 from the field and 48 from three. However, you look at the advanced stats and you see both sides of the ball, the Houston Rockets are better with him off the floor. Defensively specifically. Defensively, he has not held up well. He is very small for a guard, and he's not the most athletic guy either. And that hurts a lot, especially in man-to-man, and especially in a system like Houston, where they are very defensive-oriented. He's shot very well, which has given him a reason to be on the court. If you're going to shoot 48% from three, you're going to give your team a good reason to be on the court. But as for right now, it's like defensively he's been bad. Offensively he's been better, but still just not passable yet. It's worrisome. I think he's more of a trade chip now than ever, and I think they should pull that trigger soon, even though they're playing pretty damn well. And you may not want to change things, but I don't know. I've never been a Reed Shepherd guy to begin with. You could check the tape on that one. Go back, look at my draft analysis and stuff like that. I've never been a Reed Shepherd guy. And I just don't like holding on to him, especially when it's clear that he isn't the mold of player that they want or need. Ben Shepherd, I'm putting in mid, but got worse. He was already not, like, he wasn't the greatest player ever last year or the year before or anything like that. But so far this season, 7 points per game, 32 from the field, 22 from three. It's not great, and especially when you need more scores. Ben Shepherd was not a big part of the rotation, but he was a good part of their rotation last year in their finals run as a good complementary guy. It's wild how much different they look without a lead guard passer. They're relying on Pascal Siakam to be a passer, and Pascal's done fine. I don't care about what anybody says. I see pull-up percentages on pull-up jump shots, and Pascal's not that high. But they've needed more guys to step up. You've gotten some good Aaron Nesmith games. Ben Shepherd, but Ben Shepherd has not been great. And I don't know, I kind of expected him to maybe take a little step up. Definitely not a step back like we've gotten. Chris Paul, I'm hitting the fire exit. He got a CDDNP yesterday. Yeah, a coach's decision did not play. A CDDNP for Chris Paul. It might be over, man. I like the guy a lot, but when they're choosing Cam Christie over you, that's a really tough scenario. I don't know what happened. Last year with the Spurs, he was legit good. Did he just... I don't know. I don't know. It's really wild, especially at his age. There's real reason to worry with all the wear and tear. He played 82 games last year for no reason. Maybe that was a reason why. I have no idea, but... I love Chris Paul. He's one of my favorites of all time. But right now, yesterday, he literally got a coach's decision, did not play. It doesn't get lower than that. If you want to know the stats, he's averaging 2 points per game, 3.5 assists, and he's shooting 24% from the field. It's just really bad. I love CP, but Paul is like, whoa. I love Chris Paul. But not this version of Chris Paul. There's not many guys struggling on the Lakers, but Dalton Connect is, and I'm going to put him in getting close because he hasn't been right in a while. He started off his NBA career very well, shooting lights out, but this year he is shooting 24% from three, and he's averaging 7 points per game. And in a system where Jake LaRavia is thriving. Jake LaRavia is having a great year. Austin Reeves is having a great year. You know, there's Rui Hachimura as a spot-up shooter has been terrific this year. And you would expect a guy like Dalton Connect to be a part of that too because he's a good catch-and-shoot guy. He hasn't been. And when you're not knocking down your threes and you don't do much off the dribble, that's where you're in purgatory. That's just what it is. He's either got to start catching fire from three or start developing something like back cuts like Duncan Robinson started doing. Ja Morant, fire exit. He's in the, I mean, you could put Trae Young up one maybe. I'm putting Ja Morant up there because of the fact we've seen Trae Young be a net positive shooter at least before. So there's reason to believe that he could go back to being a good shooter. Ja Morant has never been a good shooter and now is even worse as a shooter. On the season, he's shooting 15% from three. He's averaging sub 20 points per game. I've been a Ja defender for a while, but I'm at the point where I can't do it anymore. Taylor Jenkins is out the door. They bring in Isalo. The excuses are what now? What? You get the ball in your hands more. He wanted that when Isalo came in. And Isalo comes in, puts the ball in his hands more. Now all of a sudden he can't score. I remember him last year saying he didn't want to dunk anymore. I'm going to be honest. If he's not getting to the rim, jumping as high as he can, getting layups, dunks, and everything in between, guess what he is doing? Nothing. He's Brandon Clark because all he's going to be doing is taking floaters in the lane. Do you want point guard Brandon Clark? I don't. If he's not dunking, getting up and getting layups in, and he can't shoot threes, he is effectively just point guard Brandon Clark. But at least Brandon Clark can play some good-ass defense. Ja Morant is a net negative on the defensive end. He's got to do... I don't know where he's going to go. There's almost no trade interest with him. Nobody cares that he's on the trade market, it seems. I don't know what team is just going to open it up and be like, yep, we'll take him. A couple of teams that needed a point guard that I floated out, like Orlando, but they don't need another non-shooter. That would kill them. That would be like a poison pill for them. Houston, but again, they already have limited spacing with Şengün's knocking down his threes, but I still don't consider him a stretch five. And then obviously, like, Jabari's a bigger guy. Minnesota seems like it makes the most sense to me. But again, it's just if he can't shoot the three, if he can't extend the defense, it really makes his value, like, shrink and shrink and shrink, and especially when it's 15% from three. I don't know where we go with Ja Morant from here again. There's no situation that's perfect for him except maybe Minnesota. But again, Minnesota, what do they gain if they trade for Ja Morant? I don't know, man. Their spacing's already questionable because Julius Randle is an all-right shooter, not a great one, and then Rudy Gobert down low. They're in a really weird spot with Ja Morant in Memphis where it seems like, A, nobody wants him, and B, he doesn't want to be in Memphis. This one's funny because he just had a pretty good game yesterday. Kel'el Ware. I'm in no panic. He's had a very slow start to this season. The offense is 12 points worse with him on the floor, and the defense is 18 points worse with him on the floor per 100 possessions for both of them. But he had a really good game yesterday without Bam Adebayo. Noticing some things. He played really well. 20 boards, like, that's a pretty good game. I'm not exactly sure where he fits, to be honest with you, because he started the year as the starting center. Then he moved off of it when he started out very rough. He doesn't necessarily fit their quote-unquote new play style where they're up-paced and very fast, and he's more of like a set the big and or a set the screen and pop type of big. I love me some Kel'el Ware. I'm not panicked on him because I still think there's a lot of individual talent there. It's just more about where they're going to utilize him and how are they going to utilize him that I'm questioning, because yesterday, like I said, yesterday might have been his best game of the season, and it was because Bam Adebayo wasn't there and he was playing center. The Bucks don't really have anyone to put in, so I'm just going to put Gary Trent Jr. in no panic. He's shooting 39% from the field, but 38 from three. But the offense is 10.5 points worse with him on the floor, and the defense is 11.5 points worse with him on the floor per 100 possessions. That is the worst on the team. I guess the only reason you could really worry about it is because their wing depth isn't necessarily the greatest. Kyle Kuzma had a good game yesterday, but I don't think anyone respects Kyle Kuzma all that much in the grand scheme of things. And there are other threes on the team, like you could play Derry Bird, AJ Green at the three if you want to, but I wouldn't suggest it. And the rest of their threes on the team, like, there's not a ton of wing help. So I think they need Gary Trent Jr. to step up. He's still hitting 38% of his threes, which is valuable, but the middies aren't going right now, and I guess the defense hasn't been as great. Rob Dillingham is going in the fire exit. Oh my God, dude, it's all small guards. How did Trey Jones get up here? The hell was that? Whole thing just glitched out. All right, Rob Dillingham's in fire exit now. I'm out, man. I loved Rob Dillingham. It's a really difficult thing to talk about because it's like, what am I going to say he's bad at or great at when I don't see him? You know, he played 4 minutes yesterday. Four of them. He'd be a part of the Ja Morant trade package for sure if they were to make that move. But I just don't see him as a feature player in Minnesota at this point. It's clear they need guard help, and they still don't play Dillingham, which to me, to a lot of people, they'd be like, it's ridiculous he doesn't play him. To me, it's like, sheesh. If he's that bad in practice to the point where you need guard play and you still won't give him burn, what does that say about him? Where is he as a player? You know, it really worries me that the coaching staff still has no faith in him, despite him being on the team for an extra year, him developing more, and them clearly needing more guard play. They still don't trust him. Jordan Poole's going in mid but got worse. The Pelicans is where everyone goes to die. I think that's fair. But for Jordan Poole, he's shooting 35% from the field, 34 from three, and the defense is 14 points worse with him on the floor. That is the worst on the team. He's never been a good defender. We all know that. He's very skinny, smaller. And on top of that, now he's not shooting very well at 34% from three. So that definitely leaves us in a weird spot where it's like, what does he provide? The answer is nothing if he can't score. And I like Jordan Poole, but I don't think he's ever been as fantastic as a player. He finally got a good screener again. Remember when he said that? The first time I played with a good screener in years. You may not be playing with the good screeners much longer because I don't know if you're going to be there. I also don't know like if it's going to matter. They're not great. I have a hard time watching Pelicans games, to say the least. Yabusele is going in fire exit. I'm going to quote Tony Blundetto, Tony B from The Sopranos. Boy, are you fat. He looks 50 pounds heavier. I know he's always been a husky boy. He's always been a big guy, Gershon Yabusele. But as for right now, he's averaging 2 a game. 1 made layup per game. That's it. And I think he was supposed to be a big feature player for the Knicks bench. Instead, he's looked way worse, slower, not getting off his shot as well. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Yabusele off the court, but on the court, from what we can see, it has not been a good start for his Knicks tenure. It actually looks like it's going to come to an end soon if he doesn't pick it up, because there's no way they just keep him around if he's averaging a smooth deuce per game. Lou Dort's on here, but that's just because he's shooting sub 20% from 3. I'm not panicked about him because he last year he was one of their more valuable pieces. He was top 5 in DPOY voting, I think. Pretty straightforward reason to believe in somebody. The fact that he's been good before. I've said it before. I'll say it again. If somebody's shown the ability to be a good player before, I try to give them benefit of the doubt until they prove me they aren't. Lou Dort has been a great player defensively and a decent player offensively, at least, for a few years now. I think it'll come around. It's just taking a little bit. Desmond Bane, this is fun. I guess I have to put him in no panic. I'm not sure. The fit has been a little bit, not bad. Not a bad fit at all, him in Orlando. They just obviously needed more shooting than just one. It's literally like him and Tristan Da Silva are the only ones that are able to put in a 3 right now. Nah, Franz has been knocking it down. I forgot about Franz. Let me put some respect on his jumper real quick. It's a little bit funny to talk about right now, though, with Desmond Bane, because he literally just hit the game-winning 3 yesterday. He was 0 of 5 when he took it, finished the game 1 of 6, and that's all that matters. I think he said the play was drawn up for Paolo, but he broke the play when he realized it wasn't going to get to Paolo and ended up getting a shot up. I respect it. Man, I like Desmond Bane. I always have. Sure, right now he's not shooting that well. Before yesterday's game, he was shooting 29% from 3, and shooting 1 of 6 did not help those percentages go up, obviously. He's still averaging 14 a game, which is solid as the third option, but he needs to get that efficiency up. Joel Embiid, I got no... You know what? No. I have to put him up a little bit. I'm going to put him in getting close, because he did just get hurt today. They're checking on his knee. Anytime I hear they're doing scans on his knee, it worries me. It just does. This is a guy who's had more knee surgeries than, like, I've had, videos put out. Like, Joel Embiid is a fantastic player when he's on the court. He's shown that he can still be good. He's been averaging 19 a game this year on 46 from the field. Like, that's respectable. Has he been perfect since he's come back? Absolutely not. But I still just think he can be a good player. But the issue is that once I hear Joel Embiid and knee injury, it kind of spooks me out a little bit. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, Joel Embiid is being evaluated by team doctors for right knee soreness. He had surgery on the left knee. So I guess there's reason to not worry. But at the same time, anytime I hear the team is checking Joel Embiid for injuries, I immediately think, here we can go again. Here is Oso Ighodaro. Nice little backup 5-man for the Suns. He has a funny jump shot. You want to see somebody warm up and see a funny jumper? Oso's your guy. Funny enough, the Suns' offense per 100 possessions is 21 points worse with Oso Ighodaro on the floor. That's a team low. He's not a very offensively talented player. He's a good defender. That's just what his role is. Nobody else on the Suns is really struggling. Grayson Allen had a 40 ball last night. I know you guys probably weren't watching the Suns, but go watch that one. 10 threes. He was raining it on the Pelicans. He had 42, and I believe the Pelicans won by, or the Suns won by 40. So they won by a Grayson Allen. I'm not really panicked about Oso because he was a second-round pick regardless. But last year he wasn't that great. This year it appears he still isn't. So there's a little bit of like, I don't think it's really working. Shaedon Sharpe, I'm getting close. Again, it's another one like Desmond Bane. Considering he played Desmond Bane yesterday, him and Bane both had good games while I was organizing this list. Shaden Sharp, it's still just efficiency. Efficiency's been the crux of him his whole career. This season so far. Before yesterday's game, he was shooting 38 from the field, 25 from 3. What he did yesterday was get downhill. He shot a couple of nice threes. He had one in transition where I think he did it through the legs into a step back and smacked it. It was beautiful. But for a guy like Shaden Sharp, it's got to start and finish with getting to the basket, getting downhill, trying to get to the free throw line, trying to get to the basket any way possible. He's more athletic than a lot of people in the NBA. I'd say he's in the top, 10% of athletes in the NBA, top 5%. He'd probably be like the most entertaining dunk contest guy I can think of off top right now. So it starts with him getting to the basket. Everything else, it jump shots and stuff, that's when they can push you away from the basket, but he needs to be able to get downhill more. He definitely struggles a little bit with the fact that Klingen's on the floor, and their offense sometimes just looks a little bit crowded, even though it's not like a great team where like they don't have 4 all-stars and it's like who we give the ball to. It's like Denny Avdia, Jeremy Grant, and Shaden Sharp just playing ping pong with the ball. Still like Shaden, I still have belief in him, but again, he feels like Jalen Green or in the same mold of player where yes, you're gonna get plenty of highlights. And when he makes the shots, these step backs, they're beautiful plays, but it's not reliable offense. That's my biggest worry about Shaden Sharp, is him shoring up the efficiency. Zach LaVine is a funny one because you look at his stats individually, he's having a crazy shooting season again, as he always does. But Zach LaVine, the offense is 9 points worse per 100 possessions with him on the floor, and the defense is 19 points worse per 100 possessions on the floor. I think the issue with LaVine is he has to shoot more. He needs to shoot more. The offense is just his, in my opinion. I know they have Dennis Schroeder running the controls and being the point god. He's averaging like 7+ a game. I don't care. I want Zach LaVine taking 30 shots a night. I just do. I think DeMar DeRozan's there. He's going to get his shots up. But nobody on that team is as good of a scorer as Zach LaVine. Not a single person. And with the amount of ball movers they have in Schroeder and Sabonis, Zach LaVine should be able to get plenty shots up and not have to worry about it. I know right now he's averaging still, I think, like 20, but he should be taking a lot of shots per game. His efficiency is off the charts right now. The reason why he's here, though, is because like nobody else on the Kings is really disappointing me. Keegan Murray hasn't had a chance to disappoint me. Sabonis is doing regular Sabonis things. Westbrook's having a great year. Schroeder's not great, but Schroeder's Schroeder. DeMar DeRozan's having a DeMar DeRozan year. The Kings season is going exactly how they drew it up. Exactly how everyone, I think, thought of it, except for Vivek Ranadive. He's the one guy on earth that thought this team was championship caliber, also because he's an idiot. He left during the third quarter the other day during their game. Like, he got up and was visually displeased and left. Dude, you built the roster. It's the Subway sandwich meme. People, they always say, my Subway sandwich sucks. You made the fucking sandwich. And Vivek's sitting courtside disgusted at the roster and the performance he's getting. You made the roster, Vivek. I hate that guy. I think he's an idiot. He is. And his daughter is, she needs to stay away from the team. I'll just say that. Stay away from the roster. Harrison Barnes is only on here because the defense hasn't been great, but like the rest of the Spurs roster has played well above my expectations for them. Stephon Castle, his shooting hasn't been great, but his playmaking has been much needed and his defense has been good. He's still athletic as hell and he can score as well. Devin Vassell is shooting very well. That's all I can say about Devin Vassell. Harrison Barnes is shooting well as well, but per 100 possessions, the defense is 19 points worse with him on the floor. I think it's just because he's older. You don't become a traffic cone when you get old, but some do. Some do. And H. Bizzle may be on that track. I feel like there's a theme here. Emmanuel Quickley, small guard. Rob Dillingham, small guard. John Morant, small guard. Chris Paul, small guard. Reed Shepherd, small guard. I feel like there's a theme with that part of the list. The reason why Emmanuel Quickley's there's a lot of guys that could be on here from the Raptors. They're such a mid team. They're a 500 team that's playing 500 ball. That's about what you get out of the Raptors team so far this year. But IQ shares the same exact downfall as every other small guard in the league. Guess what? You're a defensive liability. You're small. The defense is 8 points worse with Emmanuel Quickley on the floor per 100 possessions. Plain and simple, small guards struggle to defend. They always have, they always will. That's basketball. Emmanuel Quickly's in there. He's getting paid a ton of money. His offense hasn't been great either. He's shooting 34% from three, 40% from the field, and the offense is even 11 points worse with him on the floor. It could have been him on here. It could have been Brandon Ingram, who's been, he's been good in the mid-range, but his threes aren't falling. It could have been RJ Barrett because he's not shooting very well. There's like 6 guys on the Raptors this could have been. I chose IQ because he's automatically a net negative defender. And if his scoring isn't great, you're in a bad spot, frankly, just a really bad spot with IQ. Ace Bailey, if I'm going to give Cooper Flagg benefit of the doubt, I don't know if I can give Ace Bailey benefit of the doubt because Coop's been better than Ace. Ace has been not great, but I still want to be nice to the guy. I still think he has talent. The shot's not falling. He's also a walking hack, it feels like. Every time I tune in, he's committing a foul. His frame isn't the greatest right now. That's something he'll have to fill out. He's a little bit too scrawny for me right now, and especially since he's not too big. They list him as 6'10", I think, on Basketball Reference. I was like, I don't know about that one. I still think there's a really high ceiling on Ace Bailey. Like, he was one of my favorites coming out of the draft. I know everyone's caught up in the VJs and the Coops, but I liked Ace Bailey a lot coming out of this draft class. He wasn't my number one, obviously. Like, Cooper Flagg was still my favorite in this cycle. But Ace Bailey was like number 2 or number 3, and he struggled so far. He has his moments where he's shooting well, but there's a lot of down. It's still his rookie season, so I'm not fully panicked on it yet. Also, on top of that, he's playing on a team with a ton of 7-footers, and he's almost a 7-footer, I guess. Again, he's listed at 6'10" on Basketball Reference, I think. Point guard Keontae George is more of a scoring guard than a setup guard. His frame, like I said, doesn't allow for him to move very well on the court. He was getting moved a lot by the opposing team. Like, opposing teams have been just moving him. He's shooting 34 from the field, 21 from 3. I mean, he's averaging 6 points per game. What more can you say? It's not a good rookie season, but I haven't given up hope. I still think there's a lot of talent there. Too much to just give up. Last is Bub. Fire eggs. No, getting close, because he was good last year. He wasn't good last year, but he was fine last year. This season, Bub is shooting 29 from the field, 40 from 3. Take that. But the offense is 10 points worse with him on the floor, and he's effectively lost his starting job to Keyshawn George and then CJ McCollum, I guess, as well. But he's lost his starting job completely, and they had an overtime game yesterday. He played 35 minutes, and I think he was tied for a team worst plus-minus. I love Bub Carrington, man. I thought he was going to take the step up after last year, but it's kind of been a step backwards this year. Still an efficient passer because I believe his turnovers aren't that high. But there is reason to have some doubt because, again, like I said, the guy got his starting job taken by Keyshawn George, and I don't know if it's coming back or not because Keyshawn's been playing terrific. I was thinking Bub Carrington would be the lead guard of the future, but who knows, maybe he's just kind of their passing guard when Keyshawn's not on the floor. It looks like Bub is more of a floor general this year, at least trying to be, than a scoring guard, and that's just how their development is. I like Bub Carrington still. I believe in him, but right now it's like, how much belief do you have in a guy when he lost his starting job within 10 games? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, comment down below. We love the engagement around here. I'm going to go catch the game. See you guys in the next one.